Good evening, welcome to North West Tonight with Annabelle Tiffin. Our top story: the parents of a girl groomed by a theatre teacher call for safeguarding changes after he was allowed to work with children whilst on bail. They tell us that they weren't listened to when they raised their concerns. Also tonight, Max's mission, a family's campaign to restrict young drivers' licences, comes to the streets of Liverpool. They say too many young people are being killed.
Until you've gone through loss of a child, you don't realise the lengths that you would go to kind of keep them safe. It's important that we do this to save other lives.
A red alert for the region's red squirrels and an appeal for all of us to help save them.
We should be hanging our heads in shame if we let the red squirrel fail. It's just a happy thing to see.
There it goes, England!
The Sale Sharks stars hoping to get England off to a winning start in rugby's Six Nations Cup.
And milder times to come this weekend, and could we even see a little bit of brightness? Join me at the end of the programme. I'll have the full forecast for you.
The parents of a young girl who was groomed by a performing arts teacher in Lancashire say they're shocked he was allowed to still communicate and perform with children after he'd been arrested. Chris Higgins was jailed last week for sexual communication with a child, but he continued to work in the theatre he ran for more than a year while he was on bail. Phil McCann reports.
Chris Higgins. These pictures show he was working closely with children at the theatre he ran with his wife at a time when he was under police investigation for a child sex offence. We've had to hide their identities. Last month he pleaded guilty to sexual communication with a 14-year-old girl he was teaching music to. Police found a series of sexually explicit messages. He was jailed for 10 months.
Before, she was so confident and so outgoing. She lived for the stage, she lived for performance, and now she doesn't want that. She just wants to hide from everybody. She said many times, "I just want to stay in bed and put the covers over my head." It's changed nearly everything about her.
She's just not the same happy girl that she used to be.
Higgins has taught theatre and music to dozens of children and teenagers here at the Creative Little Theatre in Thornton Cleveland, which he ran with his wife. His victim is legally entitled to be anonymous, and so therefore are her parents, who saw that his arrest hadn't stopped him working with children.
We knew that he was still regularly working at the theatre, involved in shows, involved in lessons, because it was on social media. We were told that we weren't allowed to inform other parents about it, and the weight of that worry on us was awful. And we stopped speaking to people because we just couldn't face them. We couldn't face knowing that their child was still attending and we couldn't tell them.
It just went against everything morally that we thought would be the right thing to do.
These photos show Higgins with other children and teenagers, not his victim, but they were taken after he was arrested in late 2024 while he was on police bail. Higgins had to keep to bail conditions while he was being investigated, which at one point forbade him from having any contact with a child under the age of 18 unless it was fleeting, inadvertent or approved by Children's Social Care. At another point, those restrictions stopped him from having any contact with a child under 18 unless he was supervised by a responsible adult who'd been assessed by Children's Social Care as competent and able to safeguard. Now, Higgins was rearrested last March on suspicion of having breached those restrictions. But he was again released on bail because prosecutors said there wasn't enough evidence to charge him.
We don't understand the process which led to the fact that he was still allowed to be in a building with children, to be in group chats with children, and be in communication with children, knowing what he'd been arrested for.
Lancashire Police said the bail conditions were deemed proportionate and had the aim of preventing further offences and protecting vulnerable young people. The force said it had had no reports of any further offences during the time Higgins was on bail. His wife and business partner Claire Higgins this week apologised for the distress her husband's offending has caused. There's no suggestion she was aware of it at the time. She said she acted in line with police and council advice and safeguarding arrangements were in place at all times. Higgins' victims' parents now want an overhaul to the safeguarding system. Phil McCann, BBC North West Tonight, Thornton Cleveland.
Let's get a roundup of some of the day's other news now. And a man is being questioned on suspicion of causing the death of a 79-year-old woman by dangerous driving. The woman was hit by a car as she walked along Bury New Road in Prestwich last night. A man in his 40s has been arrested. Elsewhere, a man in his 20s has died after being stabbed in Wythenshawe. Police were called to Southwick Road in Northernmoor shortly before midnight, where the victim died at the scene. A 19-year-old man was arrested on suspicion of murder and remains in custody. The family of a man killed in a light aircraft crash near Rochdale have said he was a deeply loving father and devoted husband. Adrian Abbasi, a 36-year-old pilot from London, was one of two men killed when their plane came down on farmland in Littleborough on Tuesday. The police are still investigating. Manchester Metropolitan University says it was seriously misled by its former Chancellor Peter Mandelson about his links to the late sex offender Jeffrey Epstein. The former cabinet minister kept his post until 2024, despite a photo emerging of the pair holidaying together in 2019. But he was stripped of his honorary awards from the university last year. Money generated by busgate fines in Preston should stay in the city and be spent on improving its roads. That's according to local business leaders. The most recently introduced bus lane on Corporation Street generated more than £3 million in 18 months for the County Council. Now, Max Greenhouse had charisma, charm and a zest for life, but he died at the age of 17 when the car he was a passenger in with a group of other teenagers crashed into a farm building in Lancashire. Well, now his family is campaigning for young drivers to have more restrictions on their licence when they've passed their test. Known as graduated driving licences, they want a minimum of 6 months' worth of lessons before you can apply for a test. Drivers under 20 shouldn't be able to carry passengers under 25 for the first 6 months, and a curfew so that young drivers aren't initially on the roads late at night. Well, this weekend, Max's mum is taking her campaign onto the streets of Liverpool, and Mairead Smith has been to meet her.
Max Greenhouse from Lydiate was 17 when he died in a car crash in December 2024. He was a passenger in a car with other teenagers.
He was going out at 8 o'clock for kind of what he did a lot, just to drive with his friends, and never came home. He just loved being out with his friends, loved his family, just loved life. He just wanted to have fun.
His family are now campaigning for the introduction of graduated driving licences for newly qualified drivers.
I think it would make a massive difference to young people. Young people's brains aren't fully formed, and their decision making's not great at that age.
Northern Ireland is bringing in the graduated driving licences from the 1st of October.
Yeah.
What's your message to the government here?
Why aren't we doing it? You know, this is saving lives. This is not punishing young people. And I think that's one of the things that's come across, is that, you know, it's penalising young people. It's not penalising when it's saving lives. And, you know, it's 6 months in a 17-year-old's life.
Alison, her family and friends have set up Max's mission to push their message. Tomorrow, they'll take a chair Max made in college to 17 landmarks in Liverpool to raise awareness of their campaign.
It symbolises the empty chair that we've got around our dining table. We have to face that as a family on a day-to-day basis.
Helen's 17-year-old son Isaac is learning to drive.
If this could be brought in, it would mean that we'd be empowered as parents to be able to keep our kids just that little bit safer as well.
The government says they're not planning to bring in limits on passengers or nighttime driving, but are consulting on a minimum learning period and lowering the alcohol limit for new drivers. Alison wants them to go further.
I can't save Max's now, but if I could save another life, then that would be job done.
Mairead Smith, BBC North West Tonight, Haskeen, near Ormskirk.
Let's take a look at some more stories making the news in the North West this evening. Singer Harry Styles sent fans into a frenzy after announcing a gig at Manchester's Co-op Live Arena, with tickets costing just £20. Find out how to get them on the BBC News website. Stephen Brady is terminally ill with bladder cancer. He says he was left in tears and embarrassed after being told he couldn't use a staff toilet in an Iceland store in Liverpool. And Orna Rosehurst from Bolton died suddenly from a rare side effect of the contraceptive pill. Her mum is now calling for packaging to contain clearer warnings. All those stories and more on the BBC News website or the News app. Now, for years, people like Eric here, who use wheelchairs or mobility scooters on the Isle of Man, have complained about the difficulties they face using public transport. They've said getting on and off buses can be challenging, and even access to some bus stops has been limited. But now, after campaigning, the Manx Bus Company says it has made improvements in line with the UK. Alex Blake reports.
It's the day Eric has been waiting for, to use the bus on his mobility scooter. And while the process looks simple enough, it's something that he's been campaigning for more than 6 years.
Taking so long with writing letters, happened to at one stage sit in front of a bus stopping movement from the bus station in Douglas because nobody was listening to me.
While the UK introduced a voluntary code for scooters on low-floor buses in 2011, the company behind the Manx fleet, Bus Vannin, said delays in following suit here were down to safety concerns and issues with boarding on a number of routes. And while some stops are still not accessible for scooter users, Bus Vannin said a series of upgrades were being made to the infrastructure around the island. Eric had his left leg amputated in 1994 due to a blocked artery, and he says he's been using his mobility scooter more and more over the past decade.
I used to play golf, but because of the problem that happened with my leg now, I haven't been able to play last year, and I'm sort of resigned to the fact now I'm not going to be able to play golf again. Golf used to be my life. Now, well, I'm going to have to find other things to do, and being able to get a bus to do them makes all the difference.
And finally, feeling welcome on board, Eric says it's a game changer.
It means a lot. It opens up a lot more of the Isle of Man to me. It's always nice just to get to Douglas, and this makes it so much easier now. It just opens a lot of things up that I've never had before.
Alex Blake, BBC North West Tonight, Douglas.
Now, they are very cute, but the number of red squirrels in the northwest have been in decline for decades. A few can still be found in some parts of the region, but now an SOS is being sent out to save our squirrels, well, the red ones at least, or they're in real danger of being wiped out within 10 years. Conservationists want everyone's help to save them. More from our environment correspondent, Judy Hobson.
On the lookout for red squirrels.
Sometimes you will just see a twitch of a branch. Sometimes you'll see a tail. There are signs of red squirrels around all the time. You'll often see small chewed pine cones around.
Sadly, we didn't spot a red squirrel today, but we know they're here. This footage was taken from a nearby camera, and when Pete does spot one, he reports it to the Lancashire Wildlife Trust website.
You can go onto the website. There is a form on there where you can actually put the location of the squirrel, what it was doing.
So this here is a hair tube, and they just help us do a little bit more monitoring in that woodland. Just at the top here we have some sticky pads, so when an animal runs through it to get the food that's inside, a little bit of their hair will just brush off onto that sticky pad, and then we can see what animal has been through the tube. If you are out and about, or even if just in your garden and you spot a squirrel, that's vital information for us.
Red squirrel numbers plummeted after the Victorians introduced grey squirrels from North America. The species compete for food and space, but the greys also carry a disease which doesn't affect them, but can be fatal for red squirrels. Phil Hunter has spent 23 years trying to control grey squirrels in parts of West Lancashire.
You can't have reds and greys in any area. If you don't control the greys, then eventually you won't have any reds.
If we were to stop red squirrel conservation today, we would probably lose red squirrels in England within 10 years.
We should be hanging our heads in shame if we let the red squirrel fail. It's just a happy thing to see.
Judy Hobson, BBC North West Tonight, Formby.
And they're lovely to see, but as Judy said, so rarely do you ever see them, even if especially if you're filming, actually. I think they see a camera and go and disappear. Right, somebody who certainly doesn't disappear when they see a camera is Ian. Hello, Ian. We're going to be talking about Six Nations rugby shortly, but first, a huge weekend for Manchester City in the Premier League title race.
Yeah, they could be 9 points behind leaders Arsenal by the time they play on Sunday when they go to Anfield to face Liverpool. So while it's not quite win or bust, defeat would further affect their title hopes that took another knock last weekend when they threw away a 2-goal lead to draw at Spurs. Sixth place.
Remain an exceptional team. Top-class manager, exceptional team, no doubts. The moments are the moments, the seasons are the seasons. So
that is... That, of course, being said, we also know the importance of a result on Sunday, but that goes for all the 20 teams that are playing this weekend in the Premier League.
So that's Sunday. Tomorrow, Burnley host West Ham in a relegation clash. Everton are at Fulham, while in-form Manchester United host Tottenham in the lunchtime kick-off. Today, though, a service of remembrance took place at Old Trafford to remember the 23 people, including 8 Manchester United players, who lost their lives in the Munich air disaster 68 years ago on the 6th of February 1958. In League Two last night, Salford City missed the chance to move into the automatic promotion places as they were beaten at Accrington Stanley, who themselves moved up to 12th in the table. Boyhood Aki fan Alex Henderson's brilliant goal won it for the home side, and that is their 3rd win in a row. There's loads of football over the weekend. I'll be enjoying Bolton Wanderers tomorrow afternoon. Here's where our local radio stations will be.
On Sunday, it's a big one for Liverpool taking on Manchester City at Anfield. You can listen to the 4:30 kickoff on BBC Sounds as well as BBC Radio Merseyside.
Here in Lancashire, can Burnley get their first Premier League win since the 26th of October? They're up against fellow strugglers West Ham. We've got the whole game live Saturday at 3.
Manchester City's trip to Liverpool is also available on Radio Manchester and on BBC Sounds. But first, tomorrow, promotion chasers Bolton host Barnsley.
Annabelle loves that rock music on that, I tell you. There's also coverage of Rugby League's Challenge Cup 3rd round as the big names join the competition ahead of Super League's return next week. Well, the domestic cricket season's still miles off, but that hasn't stopped Lancashire Thunder making a statement signing today. Former Australia captain Meg Lanning has signed for the 2026 T20 Blast, with Lancashire calling it one of the most significant signings in Women's County Championship history. Meanwhile, all-rounder Liam Livingstone has signed a new 3-year T20 contract with the men's team. Well, Rugby Union's Six Nations got underway last night with a big win for France over Ireland. Tomorrow, England will hope to get off to a winning start as they host Wales at Twickenham with 4 Sale Sharks players in the matchday squad. Before they joined up with the team, I went to speak to George Ford and Tom Curry, as well as coach Byron McGuigan. George Ford has been part of 3 Six Nations Championship winning campaigns. His Sale Sharks teammate Tom Curry won so far.
Yeah, it's massive. It's one of those, obviously, aside from the World Cup, what is the tournament you grow up watching. And as a kid, you want to be there, you want to replicate it. I think it's the ultimate test of probably endurance, especially now. So with the new format of 3 games on, 1 week off, 2 games on, like to do that back up week in, week out at the top level. Like there isn't a tougher tournament, but again, like the tougher ones are the best because that's when you you really get to test yourself against the best people. So yeah, what I'm trying to say is it's exciting.
Ford was voted player of the series in the recent autumn internationals with a masterclass against New Zealand, the highlight.
My sort of mindset on individual stuff is nowhere near as powerful as what it is from the team and the collective, because this is the ultimate team game we play here. So like whether you're playing for Sale or playing for England, the most important thing I think everyone would agree is the team winning at weekend and being successful, going on the journey, giving ourselves a chance to go and make some memories together. You just want them memories with your mates where you go and win something and be successful.
Do you genuinely think you can win the Six Nations? Is there that confidence there?
Well, you wouldn't do it unless you could do it, would you? So, yeah.
Well, that says it all, doesn't it, really? Byron McGuigan coaches the pair for club and country. Byron, what's it like for you? Because obviously you're known as someone who, I think you won 10 caps for Scotland. You grew up in South Africa and now you are involved in the England setup as well as Sale Sharks. You get around, you, don't you?
Yeah, I get that from everybody. I get that from everybody, you know, but as a coach, like, how do I find ways to get these guys to be better and improve? Because that's their mentality. They still want to improve. So from my point of view, that's what drives me every day, and it's a pleasure, really.
What's it like for you two in terms of, oh, you've both been named in another international side, can't get rid of him sort of thing, you know?
Yeah, no, it's good because, like, to be around them every day at club level, it can only be beneficial for you as a player because you want to be around that quality, you want to push and drive teams, and with a group of us now, it's obviously more powerful coming from a group than one or two of you.
As a side note, Tom goes to the same gym as another familiar face in the region who hasn't made the Six Nations squad despite apparently strong attributes.
Hello, good evening. Welcome to Thursday's North West Tonight with Roger Johnson.
Tell us about Roger Johnson at your gym. What's he get up to?
Oh, Roger. Roger. He loves the bench press, mind. He's good on that. Yeah. Roger's good. He's a good guy.
As for England, well, they haven't won the Six Nations since 2020. This might just be their year. Roger, with his guns. Now this week we mark the sad death of snooker player and commentator John Virgo. Well, we've got something special to show you now. One of the most memorable things about the Big Break game show for which John was famous were his trick shots like that. Well, this is Les Dodd, who now runs a snooker club in Southport. He was 18 when he met John Virgo. He played with him at first in the 1960s and 70s, but they became lifelong friends, and it seemed John Virgo passed on a trick shot or two to him. Take a look at these. That is really good, isn't it? Watch this one now. Look at this. I couldn't believe this at first. Potting a black with a coin.
That is absolutely incredible. Can we see that again?
There you go, right? So he's got the coin there.
So that's a 10p coin, and he's managed to pot the black with it.
Yeah. I had to strain my eyes there to watch it again, but I've seen it in the office before.
It's really incredible, isn't it?
He's a magician, I think. It's witchcraft.
But he learnt it from the best, from John Virgo,
exactly.
didn't he?
Legend.
Now, if you are a dancer, do you dream of glitz and glamour and the sparkling limelight? Well, for one group, it isn't just a dream. The pupils of King's Dance Academy in Longridge are leaving Lancashire and heading to Las Vegas.
It's like we're already there, isn't it? They're hoping to win an international competition and £20,000 to boot. Juliet Phillips has been to see them prepare, and to say they're excited would be an understatement.
Their performance at the National Entertainment Awards was described as calm and controlled. But King's Dance Academy didn't just get praise. Crowned Best Newcomer, they also got the Golden Buzzer.
You got a Golden Buzzer!
A chance to compete on the world stage in Las Vegas.
When we got the Golden Buzzer, we were all really excited and we were all like jumping out of our seats and we could hear all our parents shouting.
The week after, I went back to school and like all my friends were like, wow, you're going to Las Vegas.
Were they really impressed?
Yeah.
Your hands are just touching the floor.
For their dance tutor, it was an amazing moment.
You must have been so proud of the girls.
Yes, incredibly proud. It's all about, the experience of, flying to America and competing against these other schools and doing it with their dance friends from this tiny town in Lancashire, with a school that's only been open for 5 years. So, yeah, it's such a huge deal for them, and they're all so excited.
From 7-year-old Cora up to 15-year-old Isabel, there's a wide range of ages here, but all the girls have the same passion and enthusiasm for dance.
For Isabel, dance isn't only a hobby, it's her dream. Currently auditioning at Liverpool Theatre School, she has her sights set on dance stardom.
Dance has been my passion since I was like 7, and I really want to pursue it when I'm older and be like on stage and perform to everyone so that they can see like my talent.
Since their Golden Buzzer moment, the girls have been rehearsing and fundraising to make their American dream a reality. When they get there, they'll battle it out against American and English dance schools for the top prize of $20,000.
And what are you looking forward to most about when you go to Las Vegas?
Dancing on the stage and I wonder what the hotel's like going to be staying in.
They say that they are really good shopping centres, so probably shopping and being with all my friends in a nice hotel.
King's Dance Academy will compete at the National Entertainment Awards International Special in Las Vegas this October. Juliet Phillips, BBC Northwest Tonight, Longridge.
Massive, massive good luck to all of them, and what an amazing opportunity to go to Las Vegas. I've never been. Have you ever been, Molly?
Never been.
No.
Would love to go.
Really?
Yeah.
Not my kind of thing, I don't think. No, I'd much rather stay here.
Why not? Look how beautiful it is. Gosh. I mean, the Northwest is amazing, but I wouldn't say no to a trip there. But anyway, should we take a look at your weather photos from today? It was a very cold start. We actually did have some hill snow in parts of the Northwest, likes of Cumbria, the Pennines, the Peak District. It did melt away pretty quickly though, and we did have further spells of rain throughout the day. Heaviest on higher ground, but we did get some on lower levels as well. This was sent in from Wigan, and this sums up this week pretty perfectly. Thank you very much for sending your photos in. If you would like to send your own in, you can do. All the details are behind me, or you can become a weather watcher. Now, I'm going to try and be positive in terms of this weekend's weather, because we do have more rain in the forecast, but it should be generally a bit drier, and we will have milder conditions. So we've had very brisk easterlies over the past few days, in fact for most of this week, making things feel really bitter, but we should have more of a southerly influence and hopefully some brighter moments. Now we have high pressure towards the east, the same setup as the start of this week really, and low pressure to the west. We will have some rain coming in tonight, so if you are heading out this evening, take a brolly, you'll need it. That rain will start to clear northwards as we head into the rest of the evening though. And we should have some drier moments and some lows of around 3 degrees Celsius in more rural spots, but generally turning drier throughout the night. And then tomorrow we will have a mixture of a lot of clouds, some showers, some of those could be quite heavy in places, but maybe the odd bright spell. And you can see those winds turning much lighter, and we will have highs of around 11 degrees Celsius, which is certainly an improvement. And in terms of Sunday, that's probably the driest and brightest day in terms of the weekends. So most of the sunny spells coming in the afternoon, but a mixture really, Annabelle, of sunshine and showers. Well, which after so much cloud this week, we can't really complain.
I was saying that to somebody earlier, that you can actually go for the last few days we haven't seen the sun.
We haven't.
It's just been grey.
So it's very welcome when it does arrive.
Yes. Thank you very much for watching. Have a great weekend. Bye-bye.
I know.